Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of College Hockey Mouth, a College Hockey South podcast. I'm going to be your host for this week, Danny Baum. Our usual host, Devin Serra, is at the ACHA Nationals. He's going to be calling a few of those games out there for the Division III Nationals, which we'll cover in a bit. I'm joined by my co-host this week, Gavin. Gavin, how was your weekend?
Not too bad. Like I said last week, I just feel like things are just happening after playoffs. It never stops. It's just, playoffs were like 5 days hockey and then just back to normal schoolwork. So a little bit busy. And then, I'm ready for the summer. I can't wait for the summer, a little bit of a break.
Well, I'm completely with you. I was ready for summer. I don't know about you guys. You guys might be far enough south that you didn't get hit with this wet. I feel like I'm going to sound like a billion years old, and partially because we have one of the main perpetrators of the running gag in our internship group that I get called Unk because I'm older than everyone. But I'm about to complain about the weather. Okay. So Sunday, I'm out playing around the golf. It was a beautiful day. All right. I was wearing a shorts and t-shirt. It was like one of those days you get a little bit of cloud coverage and it's like, oh, that feels great. Like you're airing your shirt out, get a little breeze, you know what I mean? And the very next day, Gavin, all right, and I've talked about this on the podcast a bunch. I'm a runner, run every day. I run outside. It was actually snowing. Okay, I live in North Atlanta. It's not like I live in like the Midwest or something. It was actually snowing. All right, and it wasn't just snowing. There was howling winds. So for like half of the track, the snow was blowing directly into my face. So it feels like I'm at goddamn Lambeau Field when less than 24 hours ago I was sweating my balls off on the golf course in a t-shirt and shorts. So I don't know. Like, I think that no good Punxsutawney Phil he's got to bring more specifics because I do not know, like what's going on, man. Like I said, I was ready for summer. The temperatures were great. You go outside, you get a little bit of a tan. But now, like, I've had to wear sweatpants. I don't know. What's
Hey,
the weather like in Tampa, Gavin?
I just got to say it was 50 today and it was beautiful. It was perfect. It was perfect
Okay, so
weather.
it's
There
hitting
was
you a
no
little bit.
snow and the sun was out. So it's 50, the sun was out. It was great. Perfect beach weather.
Wow. 50 isn't great for Tampa, but the one time I went down to Tampa, it was Gatsby weekend. It was freezing at what was the name of the rink there? I forget.
Nest Hockey Academy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, there was like a howling wind. You could hear it from inside, and that rink is cold as yeah. That place is nuts. But anyways, enough about us, Gavin, because we have a couple of very special guests. One I don't really know if I would consider a guest because she is on the CHS staff, but a couple of College Hockey South conference champions and AAU national champions from the University of Tampa, Joie Burns and Avery Gugliotta. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so you guys are on spring break now. So has the has the celebration just continued or has it like tapered off a little bit? Have you guys had some downtime?
It's been nice having some downtime. We even got for nationals. Yeah, we get the trophy back soon. It's pretty cool. They're gonna engrave it with like our roster and our name. So we haven't gotten that back, but when we get that back, we'll definitely have more of a celebration. But it was definitely cool after the game. We had a little bit of celebration with the team. It was really cool. To get to do that with everyone is just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I'm back in Chicago for a break, so seeing all my hometown friends and stuff like that. Definitely get some good downtime going on, getting away from school, but still celebrating from the great weekend as well.
Well, and Joey, you mentioned being back home, obviously growing up in the Chicago area, playing for the North Shore Warhawks. What made you choose University of Tampa, kind of throwing the North out the window and going to Florida to play hockey?
Yeah, it was honestly just like a no-brainer, like great team, and like I knew that knowing their team from last year and stuff, and just watching them like on College Hockey South YouTube when you guys live stream and stuff like that, and just the weather obviously is a big factor in that, and I just love the warm, love the beach, so that was also a big pull, and the great school as well, great academics, great programs, so it was just a automatic yes.
Gavin, that was such a boost to my ego hearing that someone made their decision based off of watching our broadcasts. Like I really needed that. I had like no idea.
We're doing something right.
I guess so. I guess so. All right. Well, Avery said you guys have like a Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith type of relationship. You guys want to explain that to us?
You know,
So we just shoot the shit with each other, and Joey just like, she's like my little brother. Like we just like push each other's buttons. It's just like
brother. Could have at least said sister.
Little brother, let's roll with it.
I met Joey this year. I was just like one of the girls in the group chat. I was like, who needs a ride to the rink? And Joey, like first day, she's been riding shotgun in my car, and it's first day after practice, she goes, "Okay, so I just want you to know, like, you're driving me the rest of the season. I'm sitting shotgun." I was like, "All right, we're good." We just got along from day one, and she's been a great addition to the team so far.
Well, this brings up an important question then. Who's the Tyler Toffoli? Like, who's having the bunk bed situation? When are we getting the Tampa Spartans bobbleheads of the bunk situation? When are those coming
Dude,
out?
that'd be so fire.
Yeah, that would be fire.
No, but who's the Tyler Toffoli of the group?
Like, I don't know, like Grace maybe?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
All of the freshmen.
All the
whole
freshmen,
back row,
honestly.
The whole back row of the seat.
Yeah,
Oh, the freshmen.
Yeah, I drive that like one
Avery
freshman
drives
line.
every freshman on the team.
Yeah, and me and Mafu's on a different line. I drive all of them, and it's definitely some interesting car rides, but they're very fun.
Oh my God, I can imagine. You're like the
Avery's
den
getting-
mother to all the freshmen.
Basically, yeah.
Avery's pulling up in a van next year.
No, literally,
real.
we were going to Jacksonville for nationals, and I could barely fit. I had five of us in my car, and I couldn't see out my back window. We had so many bags in the car. I had other people take our overnight stuff. We had like snacks. It was just like a mess, and like it was just so funny driving all them all season.
Ride back was pretty disgusting though, with all the hockey gear.
Yeah, and it was like the hot, like humid, with the bags in the back for the whole week. It was just so. The car was definitely not in its best shape.
The car was a little ripe. It was not fun. It was
That
kind of gross.
might be an understatement.
It was also like 9:00 at night when we were leaving the rink. So we didn't get back to Tampa till like 1 a.m. So we were all just in the car blasting music for like the first 2 hours, windows down. And then Joey just looks at me. She goes, "All right, I'm taking a nap." I go, "What?" And she curls up in a ball in my front seat. It's like, "All right, good night, man." I got it back safe.
Yeah, it was interesting though. We kind of got to see your team at like 3 different stages of the season. You know, we had the tournament in Columbus, which was, you know, your first few games of the season. Then Gasparilla, which was like a midpoint kind of, and then playoffs, and then we got to see you at nationals, of course. Joey, how would you describe like your growth from those first games where like in my observation, it looked like you were just trying to find your way in Columbus. Then Gasparilla, it looked like you were a little bit more confident, and then you were a complete breakout star, like the postseason and at playoffs and nationals. Would you say the same?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely transitioning to college hockey. It's a different game, and like Southern hockey in general, it's a different game compared to playing up north. But just like finding chemistry with my teammates, and I grew up playing with one of my line mates, Grace Cotter, all throughout my childhood, and then our other wing, Ella Schaefer, just finding our chemistry. Like, I think that was a big part of it, and they helped me so much, and I wouldn't be a star, like you said, in the playoffs without them. Fed me for a lot of the goals I had and assists that they finished, and just I think our chemistry and just finding really the game that I wanted to play here at Tampa.
Yeah, assists, by the way, Gavin. We found this when we were doing research. I think Grace Cotter had an 8-assist game at nationals. Like, what on earth happened there?
I will say, me and Danny were looking at it, and I told Danny, it was like, "No, that's not possible. That's the whole playoffs." And then we were looking at it. We looked at the game. I think it was Quinnipiac. Yeah, you guys scored 9 goals. She had 8 assists. I mean, just absolutely absurd.
Is that good? I don't know if that's good at all.
Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, she's just a great player and a great like offensive, defensive player, and she really works hard on both sides of the ice to get things done. So shout out to her.
And then we brought up the Gasparilla Classic, and Avery, you kind of helped get behind the jerseys that we saw there and that you guys used at nationals, ended up lifting the trophy in them as well. So obviously the team really loves them. What was kind of the idea behind the jerseys and what went into making those?
So our coach Carlos Pineros, he was the main mastermind behind the jerseys, and I really just like helped bounce ideas back and forth with him and try to design those really well. We really wanted to like incorporate Tampa's history into them and having the pirate ship logo on them. That's something that's like huge for Gasparilla. So he has a big pirate ship that comes in, and that's also like really it's tweaked a little bit for copyright, but it's like pretty much what the Buccaneers logo is with like the U Tampa. So that was really awesome, and we wanted to make them like just as like piratey and like just as specialty as we could. We know just how much people really go crazy for those types of jerseys that are something different that you don't really see too often. And it was really cool being at Gasparilla in playoffs. Like the amount of compliments that we got on those jerseys and so many people looking to buy them, and we're just really supportive of them. So that was awesome. And the team, everybody loved them a lot and wanted to just continue wearing them. I think those like those moments, like having those like specialty jerseys for different tournaments, it's really good for morale too, because it's just like something different. It makes us feel like we're not just like a club team. It's more of like a college hockey team just in general. It just like makes everyone feel like we're so much more official, and so that's really awesome. And that definitely I think gave us such a big boost going into playoffs. Like look good, feel good, play good. We're like, oh, let's rock these and just have a great time at playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I remember seeing the designs of them, and I thought the white ones were going to look better, but seeing them on the ice, the black ones are just incredible. However, I do have to say I don't even know what the guy's name was, but one of the guys that was doing commentary at AAU called you guys the Tampa Pirates the entire time.
Yeah, we kept getting called Tampa Bay, the Buck. Like some, he called us the Bucks at one point, and that was a little weird. My
Yeah,
dad texted me after the game. He's like, "Why are they calling you Tampa Bay Buccaneers?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know."
guy was confused. I think he was a
Yeah,
little confused. But for Gasparilla, those were your first games as an assistant captain, right, Avery?
they were. Yes.
I'm sure that must have been rewarding for you. You'd been a part of the program for, 2.5 years at that point. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, that was a really cool feeling getting the A on my jersey. We had a really great senior, Laura McGregor. She graduated at the end of the fall semester, and so I had some pretty big shoes to fill stepping into that role. But it was just really cool getting selected and like voted by the team to step in that leadership role, getting recognized for that because I just love this team and like I love all my teammates and just supporting them in any way I can on and off the ice really awesome. So that was cool to experience that and have the first games with the A and get to wear those jerseys all throughout playoffs and represent the team well and just represent the university was really cool for me.
And now a question for this one's for both of you. You guys obviously won the conference championship and nationals was right around the corner. What was the mindset coming off of that championship? Was it time to celebrate or was it just kind of real quick back to business, focus on the big prize and then celebrate both after?
I feel like we're really focused on the big picture even before playoffs. We're going into this postseason just knowing like we're like after the past 2 years, like I've played for 3 years, like having those two back to back second places, we were really just like, no, we're going this year and we're going home with it. We have a lot of really good seniors that were all graduating too. We're like, no, let's get it done for each other and make this happen. And our whole mindset through playoffs was just like we need to win this and to get to nationals and win that. So I think we celebrated the wins as they came, but we didn't get too caught up in anything. We kind of just like take it day by day and continue pushing forward so that we could get that overall national win.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what you said. Like celebrated every win, and after playoffs, we took a little bit more time, just like really soaked it in, especially in the bus ride home. Just took the time to focus on the moment, but we knew we weren't done, and we knew we had another big week coming ahead of us, and there was no doubt in I don't think any of our minds that we were gonna go into nationals and fight hard and try our best to win, and got done.
That's got her done.
Get her done.
Get her done, kid.
An assist for Avery, who's playing the third co-host, setting up Joey for the question. But yeah, Avery, you
I'd
you were
help you
part
guys
of
out.
the. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we believe me, we need all the help we can get.
Someone I know,
Getting help from Avery in a garage right now.
of course. Someone's got to do it. I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm the
yeah.
personality hire. I know it. It's okay.
So the last 3 seasons, or the 3 seasons you've been a part of, you were with a really, really, tremendous senior class that helped establish your program as really like the top dog in the women's division. But now, it's kind of bittersweet now because now, it's come to an end for them. What are your emotions like knowing that they played their final game?
It's really sad. Like, I've known these girls for 3 years, and it is really bittersweet. Like, at our last game, realizing like we did it, we got the win, but it's also like we did it for those girls who it's their last season, who helped build this program. Like, my freshman year is like first year in CHS, and I remember our first weekend as a team, we played a tournament against a bunch of just women's leagues teams, and we got our asses handed to us, and we were like, all right, like, we're just gonna be in here and just do this for fun. And then we ended up going in and going undefeated for CHS, and that was just something really cool. And just to see the growth of this team and see how this senior class has developed from my freshman year, and like I've grown with them and not only known them as teammates but as classmates, as friends. Like, I know like we all have friendships that are going to last forever, and all these girls are so supportive of one another, and I'm so excited to see what their futures hold. Like, outside of hockey, all of them have such big things in store for them. So it's sad seeing them go, but I'm glad to see them moving on to bigger and better things. I'm just so excited to see where their futures take them.
Yeah, I want to start a petition to make sure that Laura McGregor gets her name engraved on the trophy as well.
Dude, me too. I think we're gonna make that happen. We made sure we got
Okay.
her some stuff, so she's good.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Joey, we talked about you kind of finding your footing halfway through the season, starting to get confidence, and you ended up being November's second star on only your third month with the team. What was that like, being recognized by the conference as a freshman on one of the strongest teams in the women's division?
Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, I wasn't really expecting it. Avery kind of midweek was like, told me, she was like, keep a lookout on your Instagram. Like,
Avery, oh my God.
I didn't snitch. I did not snitch.
She just said keep a lookout, and she was kind of keeping it. I didn't know what it was gonna be. I thought she like sent.
I said it was something on our team's Instagram, not you guys.
I thought she sent like an embarrassing picture of me to like Tampa's like Friday beers or something like that, and that's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. And then it was star of the month, and I was like, no way, like that was super cool, and I just like I wasn't expecting it, so just like super unexpected. I was just like, wow. And then Avery was like, told you. And then I was like, I was worried the whole week. And she kept teasing me.
Unbelievable. You can't have her in any group chat
I was
whatsoever.
doing it to try to like rage bait her and make her a little mad. So she was like, dude, what are you doing?
It sounds like you're rage baiting me right now.
Good. It's okay.
Avery's fired.
Low key.
I was fired after that national anthem, guys.
We'll get to that. We're gonna get to that. Believe us, we're gonna get to that. Actually, you know what? Let's go there. I'm almost cursed, but
good. The segue.
Joey, when did your team figure out that Avery was gonna sing the anthem?
2 minutes before, when she was
Really?
like tweaking out. Yeah, she was standing by the glass before the game, and she was like shaking, like her whole body was shaking, and I was like, yo, what's going on? And then she was just like, I'm so scared, I'm so nervous. And I was like, for what, the game? And then she was like, no, I have to sing the national anthem because I lost fantasy. And I was like, I couldn't stop laughing like that whole time.
I was sitting there getting ready for the game, and my captain, Lauren Clordy, comes in. She goes, Avery? And I was like, what? And she was like, what's this I hear you're singing the anthem? And I was sitting there like getting dressed, like kind of like singing it to myself so I like, remember the words. And I just I was like, hey, guys, I don't want to do this. It's not my choice. I have to, though. It was not a fun pregame for me.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I asked you, like after the game, like was that the least nervous you've been for a game ever? Like, the thoughts about the game just like completely went out of your mind. Like, forget the game; it's just all about this.
Oh yeah, during warm-ups, I was like on the ice, like sitting there, still like trying to practice it to myself. And obviously, it didn't help much, but I was like sitting there singing to myself. My teammates kept like, coming up to me like, "Hey, Avery, you're gonna do good. You got it. And I was like, leave me alone. Do not speak to me right now. I'm gonna freak out. And then they call us for the starting lineup, and Kyle looks at me and he goes, I was like, this is hazing. This isn't fair, but I got it done, kind of.
Well, I just have to say, when you see week 7 that 2 people didn't know that you had to change your lineups each day, that was not the recipe for success for Avery. It's week 7, you're 0-6, maybe 1-6 at that point, and you're like, you have to change your lineup every day. That's when we knew it was pretty much sealed.
This season, one of my friends, I FaceTimed her and she was helping me pick the team, and I was like, I got this in the bag. Like, I'm winning. And yeah, and then Zoe and I, who played South Carolina, she was like, what do you mean we have to change our lineup? I was like, sorry. what do you mean? And I was already at that point 0-6. I was like, well, I'm cooked. And I helped come up with the punishment, of course.
Yeah, Joey,
I was
it was
just hoping
around
Danny would lose.
that's what I was about to say. At that point in the season, it was going to be either me, Zoe, or Avery. Like I played Zoe and Avery back-to-back weeks and beat them both. I was like, all right, got this in the bag. Not never opening the fantasy app again, and I didn't because I'm pretty sure that was around Thanksgiving. I still haven't opened the fantasy app since.
Yeah, went to Europe, never touched it, and it sat pretty all the way to playoffs. So now we're in the playoffs in that league. So
I
now
was
you're playing.
I was
Oh,
optimizing my lineup every day after that. I was like, what do I do?
and still
I don't
came
know
in
what to
last.
do. Still.
Wow.
So,
Well, you created
so,
a forever
so
moment, a forever memory.
It's gonna go down in history. One of my favorites for sure.
yeah,
The voice crack was like the cherry on top.
so bad.
The
My
I heard
back to
family
the
called me
back to
after. They were like, they called me like, Avery, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, I was trying to. My mom was like, I didn't know you were doing that. I was like, yeah, I was trying to avoid it because I knew you guys were gonna make me do it, but I thought if I just didn't
there.
bring it
No,
up, nobody else would. And Devin, of course, comes up and he's Avery singing. I was like, Devin, go away. Like, stop it.
and then you had to
I
send me
told
I was
something.
willing to let it slide. I was willing to let it slide.
Gavin, I
God no.
appreciate you. The
I was on the den rink. I didn't get to see it, so I had to watch the video. It's
You
okay.
didn't miss much.
Everyone can watch it on the YouTube podcast from 2 weeks ago if you missed it.
That's how my
And
friends got the video. They screen recorded and sent it to me because I wouldn't send it to them, and I didn't talk to them for like 2 days.
and probably on this one as well, just in case anyone missed it.
Avery, you should recreate it right now.
If you had to pick a different song, maybe it was just Star Spangled Banner is pretty difficult to do historically.
I'd probably just sing like "Shipping Up to Boston" or something because
Tony.
typically when I lose my voice at the games, I feel like I could sing that pretty well.
Well, speaking of playoffs, I remember doing a lot of our previews for it, and a lot of our conversation was about a potential rematch between you guys and Alabama for obvious reasons. But the story coming out of it really was more about your semifinal game against Florida. Because not only was it like a tremendous game, really, really well played, but it was a little chippy. It was a little there was a little post whistle stuff. What are your guys' memories of that? And do you think you guys have made a new rival in the Gators?
Yeah, that game was pretty hard, and it gets chippy when games get close like that, and people really the want gets higher and the drive gets higher. But yeah, I'd say any team we play is a rival in my mind, but definitely UF got a little higher in the rankings, closer to Alabama in that game. Avery?
Yeah, it's definitely emotions are high during the game. We all want it really bad, and I think that was a fun game for us to play as a team. It gave us a lot of momentum going into the final championship game, and then also nationals, knowing that like in closer games like that, we have such like passion as a team, such drive as a team to make those moments and those wins happen. So that was huge for us, I think, overall. But yeah, definitely UF, props to them. Like, it was their first year as official team, and coming out the gate like that was super cool for them. But definitely someone to watch out for, a rival, I guess. But like Joey said, everyone for us is a rival.
Gavin, these were the PR media training answers. Okay, they're not speaking their minds right now. I can see it on their faces. Like for Florida, for Alabama, that rivalry was mainly contained to like comment sections on various Instagram and TikTok posts. But no, you guys were going back and forth, which was awesome. I love that kind of hockey. So you know what, you guys want to keep it friendly in public, that's fine. But Gavin, I know that's not the case. These guys hate Florida. They hate them.
Well, it all boils over for next year, and maybe we start the season off with Florida Tampa at the Columbus Classic. I don't know. I don't make the schedules, but I could see that being a matchup at the tournament that always starts off the year. So obviously you guys got the national championship win, but one of the coolest things that we saw from an outside perspective, obviously, Abby Murphy talking to you guys pre-game speech before you guys went and played Syracuse. How did that happen, and what was that like having a Olympic gold medalist talk to you before one of the biggest games of the season?
Yeah, it was super cool to have Abby speak to us before the game. Obviously, someone who is like big in the game and has played at a very high level, the highest level, and just to have her support and to know that she was watching us, I think meant a lot to the girls and meant a lot to me, and she just gave us some good pointers, some good words, and fired us up for the game. So it was really nice. Avery, how'd you like it?
That was really cool to have Abby talk with us. She's been a supporter all season, and she always makes sure that like anytime on our Instagram, she always swipes up and congratulates us and cheers us on. So that was really cool being able to talk to her before the game and hear it from somebody who's been in so many championship games and the biggest games in the world. So that was really awesome. It really made us just feel great going into that national championship game, knowing that like we had the support of somebody who's so big in the hockey community. So that was really great.
Yeah, Avery, you were part of the previous two championship games, which you guys ended up falling short in. How did it feel to finally get over that hump and win, and especially against Syracuse, who you guys lost to last year?
That was just really cool. I kept telling my teammates who had been there for the past 3 years, I kept looking at them saying, guys, third time's the charm, third time. We had all known how that felt to lose and be in that situation. We just told ourselves, we're not letting that happen again. Like, we want to make sure that like they're all going out with a bang. So that was like just a huge confidence booster for us as a team, and just knowing that like we can get it done, and that we did get it done. So that was really cool to experience after being there for so long and working so hard to finally get that achievement. Was just so I think deserved and so wanted from our team.
Yeah, and as we draw a close to this season, we still have one more event, All-Star in Nashville. And Joey, you were chosen and selected by your own teammate to be on a part of Team Braga for the festivities in Nashville next month. Avery was a part of this last year. Has Avery told you about her experience last year in Nashville?
No, she hasn't. Is there a story going on that I don't know about?
I was the personality hire of the All-Star weekend.
Basically, that I
What
can
happened?
confirm. Avery,
So
how'd it go?
first of all, well, we did the skills competition, and as we've seen from my stats, I'm not a shooter, so I was like, let me join the fastest skater competition, and I guess I didn't prep too well. I didn't have the sharpest blades, and first turn of the fast skater competition, I completely wiped out, hit the boards, and it was the loudest noise I've probably ever heard in my life. It goes silent, and I didn't really have much. I just got up and I was like, "Let's go!" cheering on the crowd. So that was a little embarrassing. And then I also did the most creative shot, and I didn't tell any of the team. We all were like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do for it?" Like, I guess just like some sort of deke. And I go up to take my shot, and I just dropped the gloves, and I had a mini stick with me. I pulled out and I had the mini stick and I shot. I still missed the shot. Clearly, we could have expected I would have missed the shot.
Offensive defenseman.
That happened, and then I also yeah, and then for the last game, I actually ended up hopping in net. University of Miami goalie. She used to be a skater for their team. She was really integral part of their team. She was saying how she wanted to skate out. So third period, I swapped gear with her and I hopped in net for a little bit. Wasn't my best performance, but it was a really fun weekend, and it was just cool to be there and represent the University of Tampa in not the best way, but I guess a fun way.
Oh, she was there for a good time, not
Did
a
you
long
shut him
time.
out?
Right, exactly.
No, she didn't. She let you could blow on the puck and it would travel faster than this shot that got past Avery. Like legitimately, like I could have
It was
timed
like a pass from the blue line, and
it with a calendar, basically. This shot, it was not great, but other than that, I mean, I think she made a couple of saves. She got an
I
assist
couldn't
in the
see the
game.
puck, guys. I couldn't see the puck.
Hey,
Did I?
well, shout out to goalies and shout out to whoever left
Yeah.
a tripwire behind the net for your fastest skater competition. Because man, God, that was definitely my favorite
That
moment of
was
the
so
weekend.
bad. I've never been more embarrassed in my life, and I couldn't just like do anything. But I was just like, I have to get up. What? Like, I'm fine. I gotta just finish the lap, and I had the slowest time.
Well,
I should have got a
hypothetical
rerun,
here.
but it's okay. I probably would have fallen again.
Would you
Sure.
rather relive the fastest skater fumble or sing the
Fastest
national
skater. I
anthem
know you're
again?
gonna say national anthem. Skater, 100 times.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, this has been a blast, guys.
I don't know if I said
What's up?
I don't know if I said it, but after the game, I went in my family group chat my family group chat. We have a group chat with all my cousins, and one of them texted, "Who just disrespected the national anthem like that?" That showed Avery.
Biggest fear is like somebody's gonna say like, "Look at this girl being so disrespectful." I'm like, "No, guys, I just can't sing. Like it's not no disrespect."
The texts were flooding. Who is this girl?
God, it worked
No
out
way they
so
paid this
perfectly.
girl.
Worked out so perfect. All right, guys. Well, it's been awesome having you on. Congratulations on you guys won the Columbus Classic, the conference championship, and the national championship. Joey, you're headed to All-Star Weekend. Avery, you're a personality hire. Congratulations on that. And you guys are going to be at the forefront of the Tampa women's team for next year as well. Thanks again for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having us. This was a blast.
Yeah, thank you. It's a lot of fun.
I want to thank Avery Gugliotta and Joey Burns from the University of Tampa Women's, the 2026 AAU National Champions, also 2026 champions, for joining the podcast. It was a fun conversation. They definitely do have a interesting bond there, and it seems like they're going to be a team to watch for next year and a program that's just going to continue to grow. I also want to mention that they have their prospect weekend coming up on April 4th. Actually, they're going to be running a youth hockey clinic. And then the weekend of April 10th and 11th is when their prospects weekend is. They have a meet and greet on Friday, April 10th. It's $175. The practice jersey is included. You get to meet the players on the team, practice with the team. It's a very well established and well run program, obviously, with the accomplishments they've had this year. It's a growing division in CHS, and it's really exciting to be a part of. So if that's something that interests you, I definitely recommend checking out the Prospect Skate. Speaking of skates, we're going to skate through the Division II National Championship recap here. Wasn't the results we were really looking for, Gavin. Had a couple of M2 teams travel out to St. Louis, and neither were able to get a win. But I think if we dive into this a little deeper, um, obviously Tampa finished 0-3 in pool play, losing first to Army 7-6 in overtime, then losing to Michigan State 8-4, and then finally on the last day 9-2 to Oklahoma State, who just lost in the national championship a few hours ago. But you peel back the curtain a little bit. The catch with Tampa was, of course, the goaltending situation, and knowing Kyle Meyer wasn't going to be available with an injury issue, and also Sebastian Fontana, who started about 40% of Tampa's games this year, also wasn't available at nationals. So they had to pull up Eddie Zane from the Division III team. Had very, very limited experience with the M2 team. Really battled hard. Tough situation for Eddie to be in, but it ultimately looked like that really affected Tampa's game. And unfortunately, and almost cruel irony, when you get to the backup goalie or the third string goalie, they get to their second game against Michigan State, and Eddie Zane goes down with an injury as well. So they had to move on to their fourth string emergency backup, the e-bug to the e-bug, if you will. Caden Harak, who accepted a job with the Tampa Bay Lightning earlier this year and was the equipment manager for Tampa, had to suit up. And, we really have to salute Caden for his efforts. Didn't come away with a win, but just like Eddie, man, he was put in a really, really tough spot, and he battled.
And yeah, big credits to both of those goaltenders. Obviously, playing on that kind of stage when you lose your starter is tough, and it's tough for a team morale standpoint. And that Army game, the overtime loss, that was a tough one. It honestly could have gone either way. I could see that overtime going a million different ways. And shout out to Eddie Zane for keeping him in that one. And then obviously left the game against MSU pretty early, and Caden came in, played, kept Tampa in that one. The score might not show it as much, but if you were watching the game, Tampa was in that one late, and MSU kind of pulled away at the end. But I mean, it's an unfortunate way for your season to end, obviously losing your starting goaltender, and it's a tough place to go and play against some of the top teams in M2.
Absolutely. Tampa had aspirations of achieving a second straight national championship this time in ACHA. Unfortunately, the circumstances didn't work out, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Life isn't fair. And, shout out to Florida Gulf Coast Division II team, which just won the national championship in overtime. their Division III team will get underway in a little bit. We'll talk about them in a second. Second Division II team that was playing this past week, Florida Atlantic. Tough loss on the first day to St. Bonaventure. They were up 3-1 and ended up losing the game 4-3 in regulation. And on the second day, a tough loss to St. Thomas, who ended up winning the group and losing in the semifinal. And then on the last day, you know, it's an ugly look. An 8-2 loss to Utah State. You wonder where, the minds were of the FAU players at that point, knowing that they weren't going to be able to advance and, if they were completely 100% motivated. Nevertheless, Gavin, it's it on paper it looks bad, but I think we can both look at these two teams and their seasons this year and know that the 0-3 at nationals doesn't define them, and that they're a lot better and have a lot more to hang their hat on than this 0-3 record.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it kind of sets the mindset for next year is obviously nationals didn't end the way that you wanted to. Last year, both of these teams were national champions. So, maybe, and we talk about sometimes it's tough. You win one, and sometimes the hunger's there and you want to get back, and injuries get in the way. Things happen. Both teams are completely different rosters almost, at least on the FAU side. A lot of new pieces came in. Some graduated, some left the team. So it's tough. But I think both of these teams are so well coached programs that next year they're going to be back in that same spot. I don't have any doubt that this year was just kind of hey, we got to get together during the off season and get back to work when the next season starts.
Right. And you never know what M2 is going to look like next year, especially in College Hockey South. There's always teams moving up, out, down. So I still think there's bright futures for both teams. As you mentioned, FAU was looking for a second straight national championship. Didn't work out. But we still have hopes, Gavin, for a second national champion in the conference this year to join the ranks of the Tampa women's team. By the time you're hearing this, group play will have been completed, or at least will be close to be completed. And we hope at least one of our teams, and maybe more, it could be a maximum of three teams that could advance to the semifinals and win their groups. We'll run through this quickly. Florida Gulf Coast, boy, would that be a story, Gavin, if both Division II and III could win a national championship in back-to-back weeks. They take on Oakland, Central Maine Community, and then Sacred Heart. Devin, our Michigan hockey expert who's on the scene there, highlighted the Oakland game as potentially the pool deciding game. So eyes on that one. Middle Tennessee State, trying to get over the end of season woes and the semifinal loss to Tampa. They play St. Vincent, Northwood, and then Grand Valley State, another strong Michigan team. And then we get to Pool D, if you will, which has Tampa and South Florida. And of course, Gavin, these teams travel, I don't know how many miles away from home, and they just play the teams that are in each other's backyards on the first day. So we're recording this on Tuesday night. They play tomorrow, Tampa and South Florida. Then South Florida gets Wentworth Tech, then Air Force, a really, really strong Air Force team. And Tampa will play Air Force second and then Wentworth Tech. And by the time you're hearing this, these games have been decided. We wish these teams the best of luck and hope that we have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 teams in the semifinals. Boy, that would be a real thrill. And honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised, Gavin, because these are some really, really quality teams and will have all the opportunity in the world to advance.
Yeah, I like all of these M3 teams. Tampa obviously played USF at CHS playoffs, and we kind of know how that one went. But Tampa was never really out of that games. Maybe we see a different tale of the tape this time. These teams go back and forth, but USF looked really good during playoffs, looked really dominant during playoffs. And we talked to Grant last week. Their mindset is that the guys in that room have what it takes to get it done, and they did it at playoffs. You can't argue with that logic, as Grant Dietz is fully expecting that team to go a long way and win that pool. And then MTSU, kind of, you talked about it, had some woes, lost in the semifinals, but I think that was a defining moment for them where you decide what team you're going to be. Was that how you want your season to end, or are you going to deal with the adversity, figure it out, land in St. Louis and get it going? And FGCU looked like they were, saw some stories today. They were loaded up, getting on the jet, getting ready to go to St. Louis. So that team's ready to go. I'm super excited to watch BJ Riccardi. We talked about him against CHS teams, and just over the course of the season had the most wins in CHS, ended up being the goalie of the year. So that's a guy that I'm super excited to watch and see how he faces off against some of these other teams in the M3 division.
Yep, and we are obviously both very excited, and I'm sure CHS fans all over the map are excited to watch our teams compete for the M3 National Championship. Once again, by the time this is released, you'll know the results of these games. But as we wrap up here, these are the last meaningful games of the season, Gavin. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. Is there one moment from this season that sticks out to you? It could be a good one, a bad one. It provoked emotion. Give me something that sticks out from your memory from this season.
You know, one of the games that I'll say kind of sticks out for me is I talked about that JU squad all year. I got to drive up to Jacksonville, see them play against Florida Southern where I go to school. So kind of an interesting game because we know there is a division difference between those teams, but that Jacksonville ACDC program, I'm so excited for what they've got going in the future. I've said it multiple times. I think they're such a well-coached group, and a lot of those guys are freshmen, sophomores, so underclassmen, and they've got a lot going for them. So I think that's one of my bright spots, but also just honestly getting to be at all the tournaments. Columbus, I missed out on Vets Cup, but Columbus, Battle at the Beach, playoffs, Gasparilla Showcase, you name it, we were there. So it was a good season getting to call games, be at games, even just witness great hockey. Even if I wasn't on a game, you know, I'm in my environment when I'm in a hockey rink. So I'm excited for all of next year's tournaments already. I mentioned on the interview Columbus Classic for next year. I'm already excited for that. Whatever storylines we get out of that are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll say for me, and this is something that happened about a week ago now at this point. When we did the All-Star draft, hearing Will Marshall, your guy at Florida Southern, easily hands down the best player in the history of the program, by the way, that they should retire his number. Legitimately, no one should ever wear 19 again for Florida Southern. Captain America picking all of his teammates from Europe in that All-Star draft. They're damn near. And, being a part of that Europe trip, it gave me a little bit of a different perspective. You never know how much a person really takes that experience to heart, but seeing him pick all those guys, and he picked the coaches too. That was really cool to me, and just the whole Europe trip. What a great group of guys, and a bunch of experiences. The interns were great, and yeah, I would say that as well as meeting all the different people along the way. Such a great group of interns we've had this year. Produced a lot of really really great content that wouldn't have been possible without them. So yeah, I'll say Will Marshall picking his Europe teammates. It kind of put things in perspective for this season. But we're not done yet, folks. Not done yet. We'll hopefully have some teams in the semifinals and in the championship game for M3 ACHA National Championship. And then April 17th through the 19th, we'll have All-Star Weekend to close the books on what's been an amazing and historic season. It's about time to wrap up, and that's what I'm going to do here. Thank you again to Avery and Joie for joining the podcast. They were a great conversation. Thank you to Gavin for joining, and good luck to Devin on the call this week for the D3 Nationals. And thank you, our fan base, for watching. We hope you continue to come back. We appreciate everyone who watches and supports. So that's all for this week. Thank you, and have a good evening.